Hey, y'all. This is Bradley of Bradley Teaches, and I'm excited about showing you guys something new. Hey, Ecamm fam. Hey, Canva fam. And we'll see about that one, but I like the Ecamm fam, so I'm going to stick with that for now. But welcome. Today is the first day of our Canva/Ecamm challenge. We're going to be building some video graphics and doing some cool things with Canva. Much like if you guys were able to check out the keynote challenge that we did. It's going to kind of go in that same kind of flow. So today is going to be basics, setup, that kind of stuff. We're going to build a couple of things today, and then we're going to climb the ladder as we go through the week and do some cool things. As always, I do have an agenda. I have a rough write up of what I want to teach you guys to talk about. But y'all know me. I want to speak into the things that you guys are working on. So if there's something special you're working on, a question that maybe you might think is a tangent and might not want to ask it anyway. I'm going to do my best to help you guys with what you're working on in Canva to help enhance Keynote. Now, I will say this though, it will only be about video graphics, right? We're not going to be talking about flyers and all that kind of stuff. We will talk about presentations, but we're going to be sticking to the things that we're going to use to enhance Ecamm or enhance our videos. We're not going to be talking about print graphics and a host of other things that Canva can do. This is going to be a video graphics challenge. So I want to let you guys know that up front. Also, a little housekeeping. If you have a question, because I do have some helpers here with me throughout the challenge, if you do have a question, put Q colon before your question so it's easier for us to find them and answer them throughout the challenge. So, other than that, guys, just want to say hi to y'all and we're going to have a good time. I hope we're going to have a good time here. Thank you guys for coming. I'm checking out the comments here. Hey, glad you guys are looking forward to this. And y'all know how I do it, right? So we're going to teach, we're going to talk, but I want to help you guys with the things you're working on. So if you do have questions, definitely let me know. And hey, everybody, we have a lot of the, I call them old heads, so to speak, or people that have been in a lot of my other kind of graphics tutorials and things. So I appreciate you guys coming. Thank y'all for being here. And we're going to have an awesome time, y'all. So make sure you ask your questions with the Q colon. If you're here and you haven't registered, obviously you can watch this without registering, but registering has its privileges because there's handouts every day. And if you guys went to the keynote challenge, you know that we had a handout every day, which included either a PDF or maybe even some graphics goodies. Hint, hint. So you want to make sure you register. Go and register now or after we get done today. It's not that big a deal because you don't really need today's download until later. It's kind of a helper type file. So you're not going to miss anything by not having it in your hands right now. But I do want to encourage you to register to get all 4 days of goodies. And even registering late should get you in the queue to get today's too. So I'll let you guys know about that. And you know how I do it. I'm kind of not really stalling, but in my teacher mode, I let the tardy bell ring before I get started. And we still have another minute before it's 10:05, so we're going to get started then. Let's see. Oh, yeah. And if you have missed the keynote challenge, which I think was good personally, you might want to go check that one out. There's going to be some good things in it. And I'll let you know now because I just can't hold my water. I got to tell you guys everything. There is one of these days, right, where we're talking about the dynamic duo. And that might give you the indication that the dynamic duo is Canva and Ecamm. Yes, it is. But I want to talk about another piece of the dynamic duo, so to speak, that we're going to work with Canva with. And we're going to actually jump into Keynote a little bit one of these days because I want to show you something really special that's going to use some of the power of Canva and the power of Keynote in a minor way to do some things that are really cool, especially now that Ecamm has implemented their update. It's fully functional now, and green screen. That's a game changer because I would not have even thought about doing this challenge if for not that Ecamm has the green screen function. Green screen allows us to use Canva now. Before, I wouldn't even really have suggested Canva, quite honestly. But because of Ecamm's power and a new addition to Ecamm, which is the green screen, Canva is a viable tool. So we're going to talk through that too. All right. So with that in mind, make sure that you actually update your Ecamm to the newest version that has the green screen function. And the green screen function in Ecamm is part of its standard package. That's not a pro feature. Hope I'm not wrong with that. I think it's part of its standard package. So if you have Ecamm and you've upgraded Ecamm, green screen is part of that. So you should not, yeah, that's going to be good. All right. All right. Da, 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 da. Thank you guys. Okay, I don't see any cues up front. Nobody jumped in and tried to preempt me with a question. All right. So it is 10:06 now. We're going to get rocking and rolling. So I'm going to go straight into my work screen. So I want to make sure you guys see this. This is my Canva work screen. Now, I know the question was asked early on, who's using Canva right now? And of those that actually answered the question, it was 90 something percent of you guys are using Canva right now. So I'm not going to go over all the intricacies of Canva, but I want to talk about the things that are going to be key to what we'll be doing in Canva, right? And with that in mind, and I'm going to keep kind of saying some things that are keynote related and why they kind of go together and things like that. So you're going to kind of pick up stuff, a little bit of back and forth with that. All right. So here we are in Canva. And throughout this week, regardless if we're doing static graphics, which are non-animated, or animated graphics, no matter what, we're going to build everything as a video. That's going to be key to using some of the extra features that I want you guys to see. We're going to be doing everything as a video. We're not going to be making presentations as we would in Keynote. For this, we're going to be making everything as a video. So with that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and click video here. And as you see, we get the typical 1920 by 1080 screen. That's the presentation size. That's the widescreen size. So some of these things are going to be familiar. We're going to ignore right now this stuff you see here. We're going to look over to the far left-hand side, because here's the thing, y'all. And y'all that know me, you know I like to build the ladder or build the staircase. We're going to start with basics today. I really want you to know the basics of what you're doing, so as we ramp up, you're not lost. And I think it's the core of doing any of these things, because you don't want to get lost. Some people might say, oh, that's a little boring, whatever. But if you don't know these things, you don't have a good foundation to build on. So stick with me, kind of bear some things with me through this, because there might be some things that you didn't know, even though you've been using Canva for a while. So number one, we're going to build everything in the video format, regardless if we're going to export a static graphic or an animation. We're going to build everything as a video, right? So just stick with me. All right. Everything as a video. The key things we'll be using here, definitely elements is going to be huge. We're going to use this just like the shapes were in Keynote. These will be our I call them my Lego, right? We're going to build our pieces in that. Text, obviously. The brand thing, that's a pro feature. Don't really need that for what we're doing. Uploads, when you upload your secret weapon graphic, which I'm going to talk about here in a minute, you're just going to go to your uploads folder. Draw, if you want to hand draw stuff, is fine. Don't worry about that. Apps is going to be important. We're going to speak about one thing about building bulk graphics, which is cool. And it's something that you can do when you're making multiple things. You can actually even make a multiple page graphic that you can then export as a PDF or a presentation and run that in Ecamm, right? So we're going to talk about that a little bit. Photos is obvious, audio is obvious, videos is obvious. Background. When you use the background, it's going to be the background of your page. Canva uses pages. No matter what you use, what you build, it kind of calls everything a page. Not necessarily why they use that. They don't really change the name of it. So once I add more frames of this, they're going to call it a page. If I do something in Instagram, add another one, they're going to call it a page. So I'm going to use the word page, and don't think of print. That's just a Canva thing. All right. Keep going here. Bulk create, we just talked about that. Don't need logos, it's a pro feature. Now let me go back over here to elements real quick before we do the first thing I want to talk to you about. Elements is what we're going to use to build everything. Now, as you see here, the way that the elements is set up, it's going to show you what you used last time just to make it quicker to get to. We will be using frames, the telltale sign of a frame, not like a picture frame. We're still using Canva lingo. A frame is an element and it has this kind of landscape look to it. It can be filled with colors, pictures, or video. Now remember that as we go through all these challenge days, we can actually fill these things with videos. You can fill a frame with a video. Elements is what we're going to be using mostly, and they're shapes. So we can call these shapes just like we do in Keynote, but they're in the elements palette. Now what I typically do is all the shapes that you're probably going to ever want to use is basically a shape. And here are all the shapes they have here. Unfortunately, you cannot cut a shape from a shape in Canva, but with green screen, we can work through that, right? But here's your kind of library of shapes here. They're not as advanced or expansive as what you get in Keynote. But here's the thing that I do like about this, is this is something that was recently changed in Canva. When I click on all of these, I'm going to just click on 2 or 3 of them. What used to be a thing in Canva is that when I click on this, you would only get these 4 clicker points. And these 4 clicker points only allow you to scale this thing proportionally. But because it has 8 clicker points now, which is something that Canva recently changed, you can now change these disproportionately and make different overlays with them. That was a big change for me because now I can make a button out of this or a curved line, whereas before I could only scale it like this, right? So I couldn't make a rounded square and things like that. So that's something that a lot of people really didn't even know, but it's a cool thing that you can now do in Canva, all right? So with that in mind, I've shown you some of the basics. That's at the core of all the stuff we're using. It's not going to be, some crazy kind of stuff, right? Everything we're going to be using is going to be in elements. The things we're going to be filling these elements with are shapes. The things we're going to be filling them with are photos, videos, or colors. And yeah, so that's going to be the core of it. It's not a lot to really teach you with this, right? But what I want to do now, let's go back to my main screen here. And what I want to do is start off with what I feel is the core thing you have to do with building any graphics. And those that know me and know I've said it 100 times before, but I think it's very important when you're building video graphics. And what is that? The secret weapon graphic, my SWG. Yeah, I did it right. Secret weapon graphic. What the secret weapon graphic is a screen capture of you in your studio look or in your video look. Once you do that, that now cuts down all of your time on creating all your video graphics, because you know how you look on screen, you know what your size your head is, you know what the colors are and all those things. So you don't have to build, load into Ecamm. Oh, that's not the right color. It's not as much contrast. Bring it back into Canva, tweak it, resave it. Don't have to do all that stuff over and over and over. And it's very simple to do because all you guys are Ecamm fam, which means all you guys are in the Mac family also. So we're going to build right now the secret weapon graphic. Now, if you've already done this in Keynote, bear with me. Maybe some new people here. So my Canva folks, first time checking me out. Yeah, see, yeah. And I'll get on a tangent real quick so I can read comments. Okay, let me stick to it. All right, so secret weapon graphic. I'm back in Ecamm right now. I'm going to go to my options and go into live demo mode so you guys can see my screen. Here we are, full screen. My desktop is never this clean, so don't let me fool you. But what we're doing now is we're going to make the secret weapon graphic. So I'm going to hold down Shift Command 4, right? And if you can see here, you can see the little crosshairs. I put it up in the corner right here. The little crosshairs should show up on your screen. All I'm doing now is I'm going to draw a rectangle tracing my video screen. But before I let go, right? So now I'm going to look at myself kind of in the position I'm typically in as I make my videos and I'm teaching. So I'm going to look at myself, smile or not smile, whatever. But I'm going to do this. And then once I get my pose right, looking into my camera, I'm going to release my mouse, right? And as you see at the bottom of my screen here, that's now my secret weapon graphic. So I'm going to bring this into Canva and use it as the background now for when I build all of my overlay graphics. And easy as that. All right. So let me get out of live demo mode. Go back to regular. Let's go back to my teaching screen here now. And I'm not going to grab that one. I'm going to grab one that I already had. Not that big a deal. I'm going to go to my uploads folder here. I'm going to go to my images folder. Scroll through all the stuff y'all don't need to see. Okay, so I'm going to grab just one of these. No biggie. All right. Let's grab that one. So this is kind of my secret weapon graphic. I'm going to scale it up to the size I need it. Right? So now when I build all my overlays and things like that, I know exactly where it's going to be placed when I save it. I know exactly the scale it's going to be compared to me. I know exactly the color it's going to be as far as contrast compared to me and my overall environment. All those things are locked in. Now, the cool thing about it also, I'm going to go over here to Elements, and I'm going to go back to my Shapes palette. And you talk about building a color scheme, right? So here's the cool thing. As I build my overlay here, and I have the colors of my studio set up. You see the blue back here. See the gray in my hat. See this little cheesy yellow and green from the art in the background. When I go here to color this object, what it does is it'll pull all the colors. Canva automatically does this. It will pull all the colors from my secret weapon graphic, right? That I can now use to build my lower thirds, my overlays, all those kind of things, right? Now, if you want to do something kind of even extra, you can actually add an overlay of your logo or an overlay of a color palette or something like that in Ecamm. Just have that graphic on the screen. Make your secret weapon graphic, and Canva will pull those colors for you, right? And so I'm trying to make it easy for y'all. I just want to make it as easy as possible to create. So now, where I can make all my graphics actual size, don't have to worry about scaling and nothing like that in Ecamm. So when I export this, it's ready to go. Now, speaking of exporting, let's talk about that real quick. Now, for Canva, exporting is called share. What we're going to be doing mostly is when we go to share here, and you guys have to help me as we go through this, quite honestly, because I do have the pro version, and sometimes I'll misspeak and say you can do something, but it's a pro feature, and I've kind of become blind to it. And you guys might not be able to do it if you don't have the pro feature. But everything I'm going to be teaching you can be done with the 100% free version of Canva. The pro feature may or may not be worth it to you. There's more things that are available to you in the pro version. More ways to edit your animations, more ways to download, more templates available. I don't get a cut out of it. I'm not trying to sell you on Canva, but pro has a lot more stuff than basic. But kind of bear with me if I say, hey, export this as a XYZ, and then that's a pro feature that I forgot. Let me know that in the comments, and we'll work our way around that as an example. All right. So as you see here, as I said, this is a video, right? But I can still export it as a non-video. I can do a JPEG, PNG, PDF. Oh, as you see here, SVG has a little crown on it. So those are the pro ones, right? So that's the only thing that you cannot export as. And so even though this is a video format that we're building in, I can't export as a PNG. PNG allows for transparent backgrounds. Unfortunately, Canva will not let you export a transparent background video, but we have ways around that. So these are the main 1, 2, 3, 4 areas we're going to be focusing on as we export. All right. So that's how you do that. Go to share, go down to download, and then you can pick out the thing you want. All right. What I also suggest is, because Canva will keep a library of things you build as you build through, I suggest once you put your secret weapon graphic into a design, keep that design. And then don't click your secret weapon graphic and delete it. Click it, go here to the transparency palette and make it 0, right? And then export whatever you're going to do. You're good to go and you always have it. But then you can go back here. Oh, I can't find it. Well, you can find it. We're going to go over here to position, layers, click it here, then go transparency, drag it back up, right? And so that's the kind of thing you can do. Now, much like we did it in Keynote, but like we can't do it in Canva, we can't cut a shape out of a shape, but that doesn't prevent you from making an overlay, because you can still make an overlay even if it's in pieces. So let's make a quick PNG overlay in pieces. Don't have to use green screen for this. And then we're going to kind of march through a couple of other basic things, because today is just kind of basics day and answering some of your preliminary questions. Tomorrow we're going to really start building lower thirds and overlays and call to action graphics or other graphics you guys want to see. But I want to kind of quickly step through a couple of things to show you that, right? All right, so here's one way you can build an overlay in Canva and not worry about green screen. You can actually just draw the frame, right? So that's the first piece, copy, paste. I can do this and rotate it. I can even have it at an angle, right? Because we can do that. Stretch it out. Now I'm just using this same rectangular shape over and over and over. And so basically I'm constructing a frame from pieces. So that can be a frame, right? Because now if I drag my secret weapon graphic image down to 0, export this as a transparent background PNG, because nothing's in the background, it'll actually be transparent. Now I can go here and make these 4 different colors, right? But that is one way to make an overlay, right? You just basically draw the outer edges and do those kind of things, right? So that's one way to do that. Obviously, you can fill these with different things. I can fill it with, not a photo. See, I can't fill that with a photo, but I can fill it with colors. I can fill it with special colors and things like that. I can put a border around it. And so you have all these options, kind of basic options. Now, the power, I feel, of Canva is the frames or the shapes that you can fill with anything. We're not going to talk about that today, but just please keep that in the back of your mind. Now, it's another little thing, because I want you guys to play and create and do little static things like that for yourself tonight that we can build upon. Even though I'm going to take you guys through a whole litany of graphics tomorrow, I want to jump a little bit ahead, because it might be a couple of you guys that want to explore as you're building your graphics. I want to show you something, because there's a new feature of Canva that's really pretty awesome that most people ignore. You know, and it's like, I don't want to keep all the goodies from you guys, right? And I'm going to mention this in a couple of days too, but I want to show it to you now just because I want to show it to you, right? So I'm going to do this. I'm going to copy, make this another color. Now, as all y'all know, right, you can animate stuff in Canva, and make things, do different things and stuff like that. So as you see here, this first slide or first page of your design is 5 seconds long. So as you see here, it plays through. You can see the graphics there. Let's close that. So if I go here, I'm going to animate these. And I'm just gonna make them animations. I'm not gonna do anything special with them. So we have these two things animating. So if I play these, they basically run the whole time. Did I turn that one on? Yeah, that one pops. They basically run the whole time of the 5 seconds. As you see that tectonic thing working, right? It moved the whole 5 seconds, right? Now, what a lot of people don't know, because I want to give you this little tip up front, because we're going to really explore this in a couple of days. But you know me, I want to help you guys explore and create on day one, give you something that a lot of people might not know, right? This is why I say do everything in video format. As you click these items here, I'm going to right click on one of them, and I'm going to go to show timing. Let me enlarge that to let you see it. Show timing. Now, when you click that, as you see here, you see the bar. That's the telltale sign. You see the bar showing you how long that animation is going to run. Okay. What a lot of people didn't realize is that you can change when that animation runs based on the full length of the overall timeline, right? Another thing you can do, I'm going to click the second. Let me click both of them. And now I get a little up arrow, as you see here. And that now lets me see everything that's being animated. And I can fix my animation on a timeline where things can interact and come in and off with each other and all that kind of stuff. So think back to Keynote when we had the timing palette or animation palette, and this is with that, this happens seconds after that, those kind of things. Now you don't have that minutia to type it in, but now you actually have a visible timeline that's a start-stop timeline based on your full length to now make things interact. So now if I go back and play this, nothing happens, and now I make my lower third come in after a certain amount of time. So all these things can be done now in Canva when we add the green screen later, right? So now you can add these now more custom animations. So now think of a sidebar where the bar comes out first, then you make the text come in when you want it to come in, instead of making multiple pages for each piece of the animation. That can now be done in one page by dragging your timeline to different places and making them interact with each other. So that's a cool feature, a little bit hidden, that a lot of people are not using to customize your animations. And when you have a 5-second animation, everything doesn't have to be part of the 5 seconds. Everything doesn't have to be at the exact same time going on and off. And this is how you fix that. Now, I'm going to explore that a lot more in the coming days as we work on animations specifically. But as of right now, I wanted you guys to see that as you guys start to do things and animate and stuff like that. All right. So now let's go back to the first slide. And that was a little bit jumping ahead, but I really wanted you guys to see that because part of your homework tonight is to start building overlays after you get your secret weapon graphic. All right. So what I want to do as we start that now. So let's kind of step into some of these things. Click these and delete them. All right. So let's do this. We have the basics locked in now. We have our basic setup. Now on this left-hand side, the things on your list may or may not stack up in the same order as mine. Generically, they will. Some things may come on or disappear and stuff like that. But as I said, the things we're going to be using most is elements, text, uploads. Won't have to really use that a lot. Photos, videos, things like that. All right. So I'm going to go through now real quick and see if you guys have any questions. Let me look up, search for Q colon before we go too much further and see what's on y'all's mind. Let's see. How do I create my Rockin' Bradley avatar? The cartoon head, um, it's more simple than you think. I didn't create it in Canva. I actually used my iPhone to create that, and I used the built-in features of my iPhone to make that. Now I enhanced it. I animated in Keynote. Probably could animate it in Canva. And I do other things with other software, but at the basis of it was made in my phone. And as a tangent, the reason I did that is because I'm kind of lazy and I do a lot of YouTube videos, and I didn't want to always shave and make sure my hair is right and all that kind of stuff to shoot all my thumbnail images of all those expressions and stuff. So I made my cartoon guy do it instead. And the cartoon guy is always camera ready. So that's really the reason I did it. And then I use that same thing to then later on create my logo and stuff. All right. Do you prefer the separate Canva app? I'm really neither tit for tat on that. The Canva app versus the web version. The web version can be slower depending on maybe on other usage that's going on to the app. And I have the desktop version too. By muscle memory, I use the online app more, but the desktop version is just as good. So it's kind of a preference call. From apps on, I have nothing. Okay, so you don't have the photos. I think you really can't custom build this sidebar that I know of, and somebody else can help me with that if you can. But as you use these things, they will show up. So you can always go to a feature and then so say I'll go here. So photos. So once you add a thing, it's there, right? So you can do different things here to make stuff show up too. And so once you make that show up, you're good. Now, so if I go to elements, you got text, and once you go below apps, nothing is there. And it might be sometimes when you have to expand your screen to see it too. Canva, okay. I'm not going to bash the software because I like it, but there's some things that are kind of and you don't know when stuff is going to show up or disappear and things like that. A lot of times you got to also go find things. So there is where is that at? I can't remember the exact name of it, but you can go to like even your discovery palette and find different stuff. And once you click it, it will show up in your bar, but you have to use things to make them show up in your bar, oddly. And so that's kind of a thing with that. Yes, SWV was Sisters with Voices, right? Let's see. Access the color palette. All right, so when I'm here and I make an element or add an element, this bar here changes. This bar changes based on what you're doing, right? So I'm in that bar. I'm never going to tell you guys to type stuff directly into a box. I always do my box and my text separately. And so this part of the palette probably won't be using that. But as you go here, you have your shape. And then I can click that and pick a color. Now this section here, that's automatic where it's going to pull the colors from your photo. You can go here to pick a color. It's going to show you the last few colors you used. Brand kit is a pro feature. Default colors. All this down here is defaulted stuff. That's not a pro feature. Brand kit is a pro feature. This is a basic feature. All right. So that's basically pulling the colors out of your thing here. So you click that. You get the colors. If you don't like the color, you can always change it to another color or go here to the palette, pick a color, right? I don't really use the grid view. I've used it before. because it snaps, things snap to each other and things like that. So if I add an element, so that's going to be a sidebar here. I can change the transparency of it. So I'll go here and I'll add text. So as I start to drag things around, you'll see the grid show up to align for me, left, right, centered. That's usually all I use, so I don't really use the grid element a lot. How do you download the animated slides? We're going to download those as videos. That's going to be a couple of days away from here, but we're going to download those as MP4 files. They will not have transparent backgrounds, but there's actually a couple of workarounds for that. And I'll go ahead and mention that now, but I'll mention them again in a few days. One workaround is making your page size or your project size the size of your graphic. So if I'm doing a lower third, so this, oh, I don't need that right now. I'll just delete it for now. So if I'm doing a lower third, right? So I'm doing a lower third here. I can make my entire image the size of the lower third, right? And so my whole image will be this size. Then when I export that, it's rectangular. It won't be round, even if I have curved edges. It's going to be that size. I don't have to worry about transparency because the whole thing is that size. The other workaround is using a green screen background behind my animation, which we'll talk about more in the days to come. All right, so those are the questions so far. Let me get out of that and go back to regular chat. All right, y'all. So we're good to go so far. You guys still with me? What we're going to do now, because let me show you your homework, and then we're going to spend some time building some of these things I want you to build with your homework. All right. Yes, you can download a GIF, and it's just like any other animation. I strongly suggest against GIFs because the quality is not as high as a video for animation. So it's basically here in the share options, and it's under download. So you have all of these options, most of these options to download by, right? So if I go here, file type, I can pick a GIF. I suggest against it. You can do what you want. I suggest against GIFs for any animations. We're going to be exporting as MP4 video for all of our animations, but then we're going to talk about how to make the background transparent so they'll work. But that's not going to be in today's. That's going to be in future days of the challenge. All right. All right. Good. Yeah. And this is available for replay. All right. So what we're going to do now, let me show you your homework, and then we're going to start building some of these things. Okay. So here's your homework for tonight. You want to create a secret weapon graphic because that is the cornerstone to building all your stuff with more ease. And I want you to build some graphics with some basic elements and shapes, and make sure that your Ecamm is updated instead of upgraded, but make sure your Ecamm is updated, right? You want the newest version of Ecamm because as we move forward through this, green screen is going to overcome the shortcomings that Canva has to building what you're building, right? Yeah, and that's why GIFs are lower quality, because the color palette is web only colors, right? So you get fewer colors. So the gradients, skin tones, stuff like that. But if you're doing straight flat color and you're using something inside the 256, yeah, you're okay. but I still just don't prefer GIFs for anything. All right, so let's go here. So let's go back to my secret weapon graphic, and we're gonna build some stuff. All right, so y'all chime in right now. Let me know what you would like me to build. Say some things you guys like me to build, and we're gonna build some stuff out. And we're actually gonna export a couple of these things static, not animated right now. All right, so here's a cool thing. Let's build some lower thirds. And as I said, right, let's go back here. So we're in the elements palette, elements. We're going to go down to the shapes area, and we're going to click on see all. For everything that you possibly may want to build as a lower third or some kind of graphic, these things pretty much have you covered. Now, you can't cut a hole in anything, can't do stuff like that, but yes, you can with green screen, which we're going to talk about more tomorrow. We're going to be building a lot more tomorrow. Today is just kind of the whet your appetite, get things started, get you playing, things like that. All right, so this is a squared cornered square. This is a round cornered square. I'll probably use more round cornered than square cornered. Both of those are good. You know, think about things like this. You have your angled boxes, and the angle on the edge does not change unless you scale it that way, right? But think about all these different things you can do like this, right? So now you have this shape, and you have a rounded edge on it. Right, so think about the Lego, as I call them, the Lego pieces, as you do it, right? So think about all the different things you can build as you're about to do those kind of things. No, text cutouts are not available in Canva. There's nothing in Canva where you can use something to cut something out. So the whole idea of cutting anything out physically in Canva is not an option. The way to cut things out in Canva is to put a shape on top of a shape and make it green, right? Because then we can then extract that green in Ecamm to make it transparent. And I'll talk about that some more even tomorrow as we're doing static graphics and still want transparency in places that may not come with transparency. So even though I can export right now, so if I did this and I wanted to export this, I'm gonna change the color on it because that gray is just kind of make it purple. All right. So if I wanted to export this right now as a transparent background PNG, I could, right? So I can go over here, I can say share, download, PNG, transparent background. Oh, wow, look at that. In Canva, even the transparent background of a PNG is a pro feature. Didn't know that. See, that's one of the things that got by me. So we can do this with green screen, right? So a fix for that, for those that are using the free version, we're going to go here. Let me just turn off just delete my secret weapon graphic for now. We're going to go here and click on the page, and we're going to make it green, right? And we'll be able to extract this green in Ecamm. So with that in mind, we're using the complete free version now. So say, for instance, I wanted something cut out of this right here. So I go back to my shapes, show all, add a circle, and I want that cut out. I'd go back here and I'd make that green, right? So essentially everything that's green will be transparent in Ecamm once we add it as an overlay and take the green out, right? So that's the thing you can do with that. Yes, you will be able to do an animated mask in Canva. And so as you think about that green screen, now you can use the green to hide things and reveal things. if I want, now this is animation, it's not static. So if I had the circle here and I wanted to move through like it's cutting it out, I'd basically go here, animate it, and you can either pop it in. So you just have the whole pop in, right? And so all those different things can be done now where you can now do, right? So you can have that pop in and all those things would now be transparent. That's because of the power of Ecamm, but you now have all this extra stuff in Canva. So as you build this out, so we're going to be kind of green screening the whole thing. Now, those that are pro users, you can skip the green screen when you're doing PNG, but now I know that almost got by me. I'm glad I saw that. We're going to be building everything on green screen. So we're going to be using green screen to do our cutouts. We're going to be using green screen for our transparent backgrounds. So with that in mind, as you build, even tonight, and the tone of green doesn't matter a lot. Just pick the loud green color that's down here, one of the standard colors. That green is kind of dull. I would go with a real oddball bright green. The lime green is okay too, but what you want to really watch out for are the other colors that you're using that may be close to that green, because it's more of a yellowish green when you pick it. And if you have something that's yellow, you can have some issues. If you pick a green like this, it's a little bit of a cooler green. Things that are in that kind of blue spectrum may be an issue. Now, obviously, green is yellow plus blue, but you have to kind of have a tone of green where a lot of the blues or a lot of the standard yellows aren't in the mix, so to speak, right? And kind of having this loud green. I don't go by a certain hexadecimal color. I don't think that's really overly important. Just have a loud green. And this second green here is a good standard green for that. All right, so as I said, tonight I definitely want you guys to start building lower thirds. So use your secret weapon graphic, and let's start building a couple of things here. Let me go back to my secret weapon graphic. And today is I almost used the, I almost said a building blocks day, which is actually another Ecamm show. But today is definitely a building blocks day. It's the day that people's eyes kind of glaze over because like, oh, that's a little bit boring stuff. But you got to get this stuff locked in to be able to do everything else I'm teaching. This is the basics, get started day, introduction to the tools of Canva. All right. Elements, shapes. So lower third, we're going to start here. And put a color on it. That blue, see how it kind of blends into the background? So I'm going to use my other, or something close to my other brand color, which is that yellow. So I have a yellow thing here. Secondary bar there. And I always build this as the standard get started making overlays bar, right? And we'll make this other one white. Now, as you build graphics, I'm gonna let you know this also. Despite your brand colors, the two most high contrasting colors you can use is black and white. Doesn't matter what your background is, doesn't matter what kind of stuff you got going on. The two most highly contrasting colors you can use is black and white. So think about that even as you're making your graphics. If your color is pink or some kind of pale color and stuff like that, that may not work in your setup. That's okay. Black and white are still great standard single colors to use for anything, right? So think about that. All right. Let's see, somebody asked a question here. You completed your homework while watching. Okay. Yeah, and the other folks answered that for you. Anything that you make green in Canva can be keyed out in Ecamm. That is exactly right. All right, so we're going to go here. We're going to add text. And we're going to do all caps on that. Bradley teaches. if I spell my own name right. Gonna make that bold. And I've used this so much already now that I set all my fonts to sans serif fonts. Please, please, please don't use serif fonts. Serif means feet, so Times New Roman, Garamond, things like that. Sans serif is no feet, because I'm not sure who's watching this on their phone. Could be. Sans serif fonts are just easier to read in general, especially for video. So you do not want to use serif fonts for really any of your text if you can help it. You want to use bold, sans serif fonts that can be legible at smaller sizes, right? So I'm going to do Bradley Teaches. I'm going to go here, and I'm going to change up my spacing on that. All right, I like that a little better. Subhead is a little bit smaller. Video graphics guy, that's cool. Make that a little bit smaller. Now the cool thing about this, you're seeing this actual size of how it's going to look in your video because you have a secret weapon graphic. So I know where this is going to be based on the corner. I know where it's going to be based in size, if it looks too big based on anything else. And so as you kind of build these, right, you can build out all your stuff. So I'll go back over here to Elements. Well, I'll just copy this. Copy, paste. I want to have a sidebar to go with it. That will show up later, right? And so I kind of build out all of my stuff. Now, when I get ready for this to leave or to export, I'm going to click my secret weapon graphic, change the transparency, which is the box right here, drag it to 0. My green shows up, right? Now let's export this real quick. I'm going to go to Share, Download. I'm going to pick PNG. I'm not going to click the transparency box. I'm going to operate this in free mode, right? And I'm only going to do page number 1. As you see here, it calls everything a page no matter what you're doing. So I'm going to do page 1. No transparent background, no compression, because those are pro features. We're doing all free stuff right now. And download that. And that went to my download folder. It's done. So I'm going to go back to Ecamm now, and I'm going to show you how that works. Go back to Ecamm, go to Just Me, go to my downloads folder and find that graphic. So I'm going to cover myself up with it. So cover myself up now. I'm going to double click this, which you can't see, but I'm going to double click it. And got other windows in my way. Well, I'll just show it to you. Let's do that. Let's go to we're going to go to live demo mode. So in live demo mode, so now you can see my graphic here. I'm going to double click the graphic and I get the special window for the graphic. I'm going to go to, where'd you go? Blend mode. And I'm going to select green screen. And there we are. Right? So now everything that's green is gone. And because my yellow is far enough away from that green, I don't even have a halo around it. Awesome, right? And so as you build these, this is all free. This is all the free version of Canva. So you don't have to have Pro to now have these static overlays. Now, I'm not going to jump way ahead of myself and do an animated thing right now, but the same concept applies. But we're going to be doing some other cool stuff with it. So tomorrow, when you guys come back, we're actually going to build out several lower thirds, sidebars. We're going to talk about backgrounds. We're going to do call to action graphics. We're going to do in-screen graphics. And we're going to dabble a little bit into using Keynote as a secret weapon to go along with Canva. So you don't want to miss tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be a very active creation day. Today is just basics, getting you guys set up. So definitely, let's go back to my homework screen. So for your homework, make sure you make your secret weapon graphic, because as you saw here, and I'll go back to it, this all fits pretty much exactly as it fit in Canva. No tweaking, no color changes, no nothing. I put it in Ecamm, took the green out, and nothing is surprising. Everything is exactly how I intend it to be, no tweaking, right? So you definitely want to have your secret weapon graphic for that purpose, right? The other thing you want to do is build your other elements. Make a lower third. Use all those shapes. Play around with it. Add little sidebars. Do what I call pop-up graphics that might be just a little square on your screen. Think about those things. Now make them all static. Just make them. Don't worry about animating tonight. Just make some graphics. Make that secret weapon graphic and just build stuff around it, right? Turn stuff on and off. Do all those kind of things, right? Then make sure that your Ecamm is updated. Oh, let me get out of live demo mode. Make sure that your Ecamm is updated, right? So you want to make sure you do all those things. But that's your homework for tonight. You should also have a handout that came for today that will show you some other things about that toolbar and stuff like that, and some of the basic setups as it relates to Canva. Canva is a very easy to use program. We're going to lean heavily into the strengths of Canva, but we're going to use Ecamm and Keynote a little bit to get over some of the humps of Ecamm that are not so great. So this can be a great tool for you to use for video graphics if you work them right and if you utilize the strengths of other things along with the strengths of Canva. You can have some awesome graphics and animations. Because the thing I'm going to show you guys tomorrow about Keynote being a secret weapon, I think is worth the price of admission. Well, you guys are doing this for free. But that one thing I think is going to make the whole challenge. The thing I'm going to show you tomorrow. I think I'm going to show it to you tomorrow. I don't know. Might make you wait till Thursday for it. But we'll see. We'll see. But do your homework. Definitely build some stuff. Make those things. Just make some graphics. Play around with the stuff. Do some different things with that. So hopefully this has been helpful for you. I'm going to dive back in now and kind of read your comments. And if you have any other questions, because I see that some of the questions may not have the Q in front of it. But I'm going to read some of your questions here now and see if we can kind of wrap this up for today. Appreciate you guys for coming for sure. Definitely come back tomorrow. Do your homework because I want to keep building. I don't want to backtrack if I don't have to, but I will. You know, I'll help you guys out wherever you are. But I want to keep building. So make sure you do your homework tonight. The handout is not downloadable. You have to register to get the handout. Now, you can even register after today's video. After you watch this replay, I think you'll still get today's handout. I think. Hopefully you will. But if not, let the admins know and we'll see what we can work out for you. But make sure you register. That's the only way to get the handouts. We're not going to send them to you individually. They're nowhere to be downloaded. You have to register. Registering has its privileges. All right. I'm going to start from the bottom and go backwards. All right. Yes. And that's the thing, Carol. Play. That's how I figured out most of the stuff with Keynote and with Canva, just by playing. I use other software in my profession, but I want to use software that the user base is using and stuff that's free, right? You can do pro level graphics with free software. I think I've proven that over the years. And I just want to show you guys how to explore and play and do things like that, right? I need to binge watch Keynote stuff. No, you don't have to watch anything with Keynote before tomorrow. This is a Canva challenge. The things I'm going to be showing you in Keynote tomorrow is probably going to be brand new for everybody. So you're all in the same boat as far as Keynote is concerned for tomorrow. Regardless of your experience with Keynote, expert, medium, no spurt, well, if that's even a word. Uh, what I show you tomorrow is going to be brand new for everybody. So there's nothing to really kind of dive in and mess with on that. I'm using an external camera. Yeah, do what you can. On the road is on the road. I just love that you're here checking this out. Even if you do use your phone or something and do a selfie picture, widescreen, kind of typically your general size that you would be in your video setup. I know I say do it based on your overall look and things like that of you in your studio, but you are kind of still the most important thing because you want to have the ratios right. Okay. And even go back to one of your old videos and screen capture from an old video, right? There's plenty of workarounds for a secret weapon graphic. If you can't make it manually live like I did today, go open up one of your old videos. That's pretty much your standard look and screen capture from that. It's not, don't make it hard on yourself. Thank you guys for the kind words on that. I love y'all too. Thank y'all. All right. I'm Steven's secret weapon. Cool. All right, y'all. Let me see. Any more questions? And definitely, if you guys have questions that I did not answer, once YouTube puts them in the comment stream and out of the live chat stream, I can jump in and answer those. That's based on YouTube, though. I can't guarantee when that's going to happen. But if there's questions I didn't answer, I'll make sure I do them in the comment stream whenever Keynote releases them. All right, y'all. First hour in the books. It is now an hour plus 2 minutes. So I will see you all tomorrow. This has been awesome. Thank y'all for bearing with me. The first day is always kind of a tiptoe, crawl, tricycle kind of feel. It can be kind of slow for folks that have experience or expertise. But you got to get that locked in, y'all. Just believe and trust the process. Get the basic stuff locked in. Learn that toolbar. Know where things are. Because when we start building tomorrow, we're just building, right? Now, if you have a question, obviously, I won't leave you behind. But jump in and play. Do some stuff today. Yes, the replay is available. As soon as I hit stop today, the replay is still on YouTube. So I'm not sure where you might be. Well, you got to be watching on YouTube. The only place it is. So yeah, so as soon as I hit finish and the broadcast ends, it becomes a video on YouTube. So jump back in and you can watch it immediately as soon as I hit finish. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for being here. And as I always end, be good to yourselves, be good to each other. Keep on creating, y'all. Have an awesome day. Do your homework. Make sure Ecamm is updated. Make sure you make a secret weapon graphic and just make stuff. Go into the elements, go into shapes, make some stuff. All right, y'all. See y'all tomorrow. Have a good day. Bye-bye.